My name's Mark Turner. Been a trucker for nearly 15 years now. Got a wife, Linda, and two kids, Sophie and Ryan. My life was simple. The road, the rig, a warm dinner when I got home, and my kids' sleepy hugs before bed. Or so I thought. It was a Wednesday night when it all started unraveling. I'd just pulled into a rest stop off I-70 in Missouri, dead tired after a 14-hour haul from Texas. As usual, I video called the kids before bed. Sophie, sweet girl, was drawing something with glitter all over her face. Ryan had a Lego spaceship he was showing off. But Linda, she wasn't around. Said she was out with the girls for the third night in a row. Odd. A week later, I came home earlier than usual. Dispatch messed up my route and I wasn't complaining. I missed my kids. Pulled the rig into the driveway and noticed a pair of muddy boots by the front door. Not mine. I walked in quietly. The kids were at school. The house was too quiet. I heard voices upstairs. A man's voice. I froze. I crept up the stairs and my stomach dropped. Linda's voice, laughing, whispering. I don't know what got into me, but I kicked the door open. There she was, in our bed, with our neighbor Greg, the guy who always helped with the lawn when I was out. Linda screamed. Greg jumped up, covering himself like a coward. I stood there, heart pounding, trying to understand. Mark, you weren't supposed to be home until Friday, she shouted like I was the problem. I didn't say a word, just turned around and left. The next few weeks were a blur. I stayed in my rig, sleeping in truck stops, calling the kids every night. Linda tried to paint me as unstable, saying I was overreacting. She begged me not to tell the kids, said it was a mistake, that she was lonely. But it wasn't just one time. I found texts, dozens, pictures, messages not just from Greg, but from two other men. The woman I thought I knew was someone else entirely. Then came the bombshell. One night Ryan asked me on the phone, Dad, why don't you live with us anymore? Mom says you left us. My blood boiled. I drove straight home the next day, walked in, and demanded we sit down. I told the kids the truth. Not the ugly details, but enough. That their mom had made choices that hurt the family. Linda screamed, cried, called me a liar. But Ryan just looked at her and said, You said Dad didn't love us anymore. Her face twisted, and for a moment, she looked like a stranger. I had to say something. He wasn't here. That's when Sophie said quietly, You're always yelling, Mom. Dad listens. I moved back into the house, slept on the couch, started taking time off the road. The kids clung to me like lifelines. Linda stayed out late, sometimes didn't come home, said she needed space. One night I found a letter in the mailbox, no return address. Inside were photos of Linda with Greg at a motel, dated from over a year ago. One had a note. It's been going on longer than you think. I started digging. Turned out she'd emptied part of our joint savings account. Thousands gone, all while telling me she couldn't buy new shoes for Ryan. Then came the final twist. I found a receipt in her purse, a hotel booking in Las Vegas for two, under a different last name, hers and Greg's. Dated for a weekend, I was stuck in a blizzard up in Montana, barely eating. I confronted her. She didn't even try to lie. You were never around? You chose your truck over me, she spat, her eyes full of venom. At least Greg makes me feel wanted. That was the moment something inside me turned to steel. I hired a lawyer, quietly. I documented everything. The texts, the photos, the withdrawals, even the kids' testimony about how she behaved when I wasn't home. Then I filed for divorce, full custody. The courtroom was cold and gray the day Linda stood before the judge. She wore her best fake smile, dripping with tears that dried as fast as they came. Claimed I was controlling, claimed I abandoned them, that I brainwashed the kids. But truth has a way of cutting through lies. My lawyer presented every shred of evidence, photos, receipts, witness statements, even from Greg's ex-wife who had her own horror stories. The judge looked over it all with a heavy brow. Then Sophie asked to speak. Everyone froze. The judge hesitated, then nodded. She stood up. Only 10 years old, but brave as a lion. I love Mom, but she lies and she yells and she made us scared. Dad listens. Dad comes home when he can. He never yells. He tells the truth. That was it. Full custody was granted to me. Linda got visitation, supervised. When the gavel hit, she screamed, claimed it was unfair, stormed out, slamming the courtroom doors. A week later, Greg left her. Apparently, he didn't sign up for a woman without money, without kids, and without a plan. She called me drunk, left voicemails saying she missed me, that I should come back. I blocked the number, I sold the house, bought a small farm near my brother's place, started doing short-haul routes, never gone more than a day. Sophie and Ryan are thriving, quiet, healing. Sometimes Ryan asks why Mommy changed. I don't have an answer. Some people choose chaos, but we chose peace. Linda? Last I heard, she's living in a one-bedroom apartment, working nights at a diner, alone. The neighbors say she's bitter, always blaming someone. But that's not my road to drive anymore. Mine leads forward, and I've got 2 passengers worth every mile.